Okay, so here's example 3 for this topic. It's an equation with fractions, just like we've been solving. The difference here is we have some parentheses that we have to deal with sometime when we're solving this equation. But it's still an equation with fractions, so I'm going to follow the main idea, which says multiply both sides by the LCD. Because there's only a single fraction, we see that the LCD is 5. So let me go ahead and multiply both sides by the LCD. Let me write it out. Alright, so that's what we get, if we multiply both sides by 5. But what we have to do now is actually, figure out what it means, what the result is on each side when you multiply by this 5. Don't be fooled. On the left side, the operation between the fraction and the parentheses is multiplication. Okay, it's not addition. So you do not need to distribute on the left side. On the right side, the operation is plus, it's addition. So you are going to need to distribute the 5 here. But again, when you distribute the 5 to the first term, this operation is multiplication. So you do not need to distribute to both of these. You just need to distribute to one of them. So let me write out what we get. So there's the next line. This is what you should end up with after you multiply out the 5. Here's your 5s. I multiplied the 5 right here, and right here. Now we can reduce to clear our fraction out. This 5 and this 5 are going to reduce and leave me with a 2 times 2x plus 2. This 5 times this 3 will give me 15, and then I still have a 4 minus 2x in parentheses. And then 5 times 16 is 80. Right. Now we have a linear equation, no fractions, right? Stuff we're used to. Distribute, collect like terms, reverse operations, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's run through that. Here's the result after I do my distribution. Now we need to collect like terms. Here's the result after we've collected like terms. So finally we have to get our x's on one side and our numbers on the other side. Okay, here's the result after, moving things around so that your variables are on one side and your numbers on the other. So the final step would be to divide both sides by 34. It just so happens that 34 goes into 136, so my result is x equals 4. 136 divided by 34 is 4. Whew. Okay, so here's the last example for this topic, and we finally got into an equation with decimals. Now, essentially decimals are just fractions. Okay, each one of these decimals you can think of as a fraction. 0.7 is 7 over 10. 0.05 is 5 over 100. And 0.1 is 1 over 10. Okay, so in this case, to simplify my equation, to make my equation more manageable, I'm going to multiply again by the LCD. The LCD here is 100. Now there's no need really to write 7/10 instead of 0.7. Okay, I'm going to keep the decimals in when I multiply both sides by 100. All right, but I simply showed you that 0.7 is 7/10 and 0.5 is 5/100. I showed you this so you could see the LCD, the thing you have to multiply both sides by in this equation, is 100. Right, so let me write out the next step. So this is what it looks like after you multiply each side by 100. But I haven't done much yet. I actually have to figure out how each side simplifies. Again, what you want to look for are plus signs. Here's a plus sign. Okay, just like in the last example, when you see a plus sign, you distribute to each side of the plus sign, like so. See, this is not a plus, this is a multiplication. So I don't need to do any extra distribution here yet. Okay, here, these are connected by multiplication. So I'm just going to multiply my 100 in once. I do not need to distribute since it's multiplication, not addition. All right, so let's write what we get here. All right, so here's the result after multiplying the 100 out. On the left, I had to distribute, so you see I have my 100 written twice, once here, once here. On the right side, I didn't have a plus, so I didn't have to distribute, and I just wrote my 100 once. So now we need to recall how we multiply decimals by 100. All right, multiplying by 100 is going to move your decimal point 2 times to the right. So I'm going to move this 2 times here. I'm going to move this 2 times here. I'm going to move this 2 times here. So in this case, 100 times 0.7 is going to give me 70. And I have an x attached, so 70x plus 100 times 0.05 is just going to give me 5. Then I write my parentheses, 16 minus x equals 100 times 0.1 is going to give me 10. And then I still have a negative 5 that I have to multiply by. Right? At this point, our decimals are gone. Right, so it's just a linear equation with parentheses. We distribute, collect like terms, etc. So let's zoom through that. So here's the result that I come up with after doing my distribution. Next we collect like terms. Here's what we come up with after collecting our like terms. Finally, we use our reverse operations and isolate x. So we'll subtract 80, bringing me to 65. X equals negative 130. Divide both sides by 65. Again, 65 actually goes into 130, so this will leave us with x equals, don't forget your negative sign, negative 2. There's our answer.